Good afternoon, everyone. After that brilliant, self journey, what you have showed us, connecting back the dots to our lives started happening here. So all of us would be in that, mood. So my first, I thank all the panelists to join us here. So I know we are between lunch and the next sessions, and I need your patience to go through this session. So before I start, I would like to talk about a little bit about the context, the inner resilience, and also how do we navigate in our day life and also in our professional life. The set of panelists here come from diverse fields. We have a doctor, medical professional. We have a social worker, very connected to the grassroots. We have an academician here. And of course, we have a mental health professional. One of the titles I'm picking up for this session from your biodata is mental health professional. You have several others. I know it's a beautiful thing to have you here. So my first question is inner resilience. Each one of you coming from separate professions, how are you, practicing it? I wouldn't say dealing, managing it, I'd say practicing it. How are you managing it and practicing it? Ma'am, we'll start with the medical profession. Dr. Premlata here.
Hello, is this on? Yeah. Coming from being in the health industry, we have to every day, you think you go strong to the hospital and then you come up with all negativities from all the sides. I mean, apart from managing our personal issues, emotional thing, physical things, we also have to look at other people's issue day in and day out. So, it's like we always, tell ourselves that we shouldn't be emotionally connected to the, whatever we are dealing with, but still we have to be with it, be with the issue, but emotionally disconnected. But we are also human beings after all. So, it most of the time ends up that we also, take hope some of the stress and some of the things, the negativities we take. So I feel, sometimes we also have these, especially younger, because I've been practicing for 24 years. I think I'm in a step ahead to how to handle the issues. But we see these young doctors, especially suppose suddenly a patient dies, and then they've given the best care, whatever is possible, but they still have this guilt. They just come back to us and they start crying. Did I miss something? It's called an imposter syndrome, actually. You feel that you have done something wrong. Should I have done anything better? And then that's scary, to go back to work again. You don't feel competent enough. I've studied so much, I put in so many years. What did I do? I couldn't save a life. So this is the most important thing, the initial years we go through. So how do we like separate that is, of course, like family support, and most important thing in these kind of thing is the colleagues, like co-workers and all, who can like share, because others never understand our side of it, because every time all the empathy, everything is on the patient side. The doctor's side of it, no one wants to think. When a death happens or when a mishap happens, it's always everyone is looking at you, ignoring your feelings. They're just trying to put point, oh doctor, what did you do to this? So it's very, very difficult, but we have to have that support system from the colleagues, from the family, from the higher authorities also. And that's how, and we also have to have this self time, it's me time is not self indulgence, as someone said already, because unless we are happy and healthy, we cannot make others, like the patients or a family or a society, happy. So I think that's most important. Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. I had the opportunity to meet a doctor in her hospital several times with different issues. And I found that she is not just a doctor, but also a healer. The conversation she would have with the patient, spending time listening, is something has become a very rarest thing among the doctors. But Dr. Premlata, I've seen that she has a keen ear to understand the other side of the health issues. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So, doctors have a different kind of lifestyle. I understand their intents, and they get to meet the families. and all. Similar is our case also. So when we go to grassroots and we interact with different kinds of people, mostly women, um, and how stuck they are, in their roles, especially when we take, in the clutches of patriarchy, I would say. So, liberation, self empowerment, and all these things are also the language of the privileged, I could say. So, when I see that, I get depressed, but the way I deal with that emotional burnout is by taking care of myself and all the senses, the visual, the tactile. Like, for example, what do I see when I get back home, and how do I disconnect myself from these things so I'm ready for the next day. So, what do I hear? The kind of music, whom do I talk to, and also creating an enabling environment for all this. The family, the peers, and the neighborhood, and the kind of place that I live in, including my bed. All these things, make a very big difference. So that's how I deal with it.
Thank you, Aparna. I know it's not easy to be at the grassroots and day in and day out talk to people who are going through issues. Yeah. You'd like to add something?
Because I live in London and I always go back to the Indian culture. And I have a very simple mum who would always make us go to Gurudwara because I'm Punjabi, and every Saturday and Sunday it would be seva. We would pick up everybody's shoes and then give food. And so when I shifted to London, I was looking out for the Gurudwara and the South Hall Gurudwara. And every Saturday and Sunday, no matter what, I take my little daughter was like, no, I don't want to go. And then finally, she's absolutely in the service. And then I know it's backed by science. The number one reason, apart from gratitude, you can really build inner resilience and power, service and kindness. Every weekend, because what it does, it immediately makes you humble. It immediately elevates your self-worth. You start to feel so good about yourself. And you realize, oh my goodness, I am in a great place. So dedicate that time. Youngsters should do that. Service, kindness to others. I mean, that's what really works for me, and it's backed by Harvard and Yale now, Doctor.
Brilliant to bring back the scientific part of it. Yeah, Dr. Swati.
Yeah, coming from academia, I think I relate to some of the teachers who were talking about how it is difficult to maintain the students in the class, and at the same time know the background, know the kind of working they are doing, and the different families they come from, and the different backgrounds they come from. And I have some students also coming from foreign countries, so we have different cultures also coming into play there. So I think to build resilience, one thing, as all our panelists were saying, you need to keep yourself fit to deal with all that. And at the same time, what I found was personally some instances that happened in my life. Forgiveness is another thing that we all should learn. So once you forgive that person, that what has happened to you, I think you move on. That is one thing which I learned from my own life experiences, and that is what I would like to add to what they have already said.
Thank you, Swati. I think we are bringing out the softer aspects of life, which we think we all have, but unless there is an absence, we realize that we don't have it, or we need to have it. Thank you for bringing that brilliant points. So I will now just go round the robin on asking Doctor, this question goes to you, like psychosomatic illness, when the mental health issues are there, it manifests in physical health as well. So what are the latest contemporary health issues you're seeing in women, girls, or even general public?
Yeah. So, no, in 90s, initially it was women's health was synonymous with sexual and reproductive health.
That's how everybody understands.
Yeah. So when we say women is only about the sexual reproduction, all the menstruation. Other than that, it's nothing. It's nothing. And so there were a lot of policies, lot of things were like done to bring down the maternal mortality rate from whatever the 50%. But now women contribute about 50% of the population. So now if we look at it, now women also have other issues. Now we don't want to focus on not just when we say heart attack, BP, diabetes, stroke, everything they think it's only just for the men. Now we want to focus, I'm an obstetric and gynecologist, so I deal with the sexual and reproductive health only. But what I see in the changes, like practicing from 24 years, decade by decade, what I'm observing is we are getting more of like communicable diseases, and also this, the mental health. We have to focus on mental health also, because that's becoming more important, because now women have to interact with much broader groups of peoples, people like not just like, they work for other countries. And so I feel we have to broaden the scope of health issues, like the policies made, or the strategic things to come out have to be broader, like more focusing on the general health. Women is not just
Reproductive.
SRH, that was called as sexual and reproductive health. So we have to broaden that, because now earlier the mortality with non like reproductive and sexual health was only 38%. Now it has come to around 68 to 70%. And when men have diabetes, or there's a priority is given. See, I get a woman saying, "Madam, I have to take care of my husband. He has diabetes." Then I said, "You also have diabetes." "Yes, ma'am, but they are more riskier to get a heart attack or a stroke." No, but that's wrong actually. That's wrong, because women are 40% more at risk of developing a stroke than men if the same age group statistics are taken. The second thing is, in general, women have a longer life, compared to even men. So what happens is they are living longer, but more with disabilities in the last, the last few decades of their life, they're living with disability. So focus should be on promoting the health, not just treatment. When the policies come, they're usually to treat the illnesses, but treating the illness is not the end of the road. It's like it has to start from promoting the health. So self-care, both physically, emotionally, mentally. I think every woman, we should not feel guilty. Even I used to feel initially very, very guilty. Even if I spend 1 hour of time going for exercise, they say, "Your kids are so young, you are a doctor. Do you get time to exercise?" They think that when you go for workout, see, I was one of the first ones to go for my aerobic classes, right back in 2007, when I had like small kids and a newly established hospital. People used to wonder, "Oh, you don't have any work, you don't have patients, you don't have small kids. Why are you coming for workout? What do you want to do with your body? Like, why do you have to exercise?"
Yeah,
So this way the questions.
unfortunately, these workouts, everything are seen as leisure time activities or somewhere.
Exactly. Then I say, if I'm not healthy, see, I felt, see, the only time, I had to give explanation to people, saying that the only time I got for myself is from my sleep. I didn't compromise anything. I was sleeping for 8 hours, now I sleep for 5 hours, at 3 hours. So I was giving explanation to people, including my family, my parents, my relatives, everyone. "Oh, no, 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 I'm only sleeping 5 hours, and 3 hours I'm going and doing exercise, my work." I used to feel guilty, I don't know why I had to feel, because I was one of the very rare. All other people there, I used to go after my children go to school, sending them off to school, then go for my workout for an hour and come back and start my work. And they used to say, "Oh, don't you, we all start patients early by 9. Why are you starting by 11? And I said, then if I'm not, because I feel if I work out, I take out that time, I'm a better person, I'm better mother, better doctor, better wife, better friend. So I felt it is very, very important, and I'm proud that I could take the decision at that time. And that's, I feel that was my way of meditating. I used to call that like a moving meditation with music. Forget everything, forget family, forget work, debts, life, everything, just to yourself. So that used to help me like manage my work a day better. And I feel, I tell this the same thing, don't feel guilty. If you take care of yourself, you take care of everything else in a better way.
Promoting self-care. Thank you, ma'am. Aparna, the government and the gender budgeting. If you remember the kind of budgeting which happens in India, and health and mental health of all the things, would that get represented anywhere in the gender budgeting? Is there a gender budgeting here?
We're still on in the way. So gender budgeting is still, I think Karnataka has started it. Other than that, we don't have other states implementing. I mean, I don't even think we have any budget allocated. This is still in talks. The thing is, when we talk of, but I want to extend this. No, when we talk of gender budget, what we think is this is a kind of policy that is made special amendments for women to work. What we forget here is women are as educated and as capable of men as men to get into any kind of job. What happens is this motherhood usually pulls them back and then makes them stay at home. So it's also about the system allocation for women to get into different kinds of fields. And then when they get into different kinds of fields, it's also about their growth. A lot of women sacrifice their career, promotions, transfers, and all these things. So, and also about the support that they receive from the family is only counted. But how about the support that the system provides? I mean, do we have enough of institutions that provide childcare? Do we have enough of institutions that provide support to women who are single parents? And different kinds of questions that come. It's also about losing so much of productivity. Say, for example, assuming that we have 50% of women in our country. So, if out of this 50%, if 20% are in the reproductive age and if they're held back from working only for these reasons, how much of GDP are we losing here? So, if we really start counting these things from that point of angle, we don't think this is a special amendment. This is actually done for the growth of the nation. You know, that's it.
Thank you, Aparna, for bringing that perspective. Like we have budget, so I think probably a summit or a seminar or conference should also address this gender budgeting as a subject. We need deeper knowledge on this. Thank you. In the last session, I remember at the end when one of the youngsters asked a question on the feeling and the communication related to feeling, right? So we feel, but we don't communicate, or we don't communicate appropriately. So we have a linguistic professor here. Let me ask you, what was your research on this?
So we had a very interesting study. We had given two questions to the participants. One was a hypothetical question, how do you feel in a particular situation? And one was a lifetime situation in the past 6 months. What was the situation which was very disturbing for me? And we had very range of answers from the adolescents. So some of them answered that they were talking to friends. That was the highest response that we got. And some of them, they were saying that we write diary. And there was one response which said they contact a counselor. So basically, when we are looking at communication, we have to look at two components of it. One is related to the verbal communication that the child is doing. We also should look at the non-verbal communication that is happening with the child. So whenever we are talking to children, make the eye contact direct and give them the confidence that you are listening to them, because many times parents are just, okay, the child is talking, the parent is looking at the phone. So many of the responses that we got, there were issues where parents were not paying attention to the children. So that was one of the highest thing that we received. And another response we received was related to the peer pressures. So they were communicating to the peers, but they were not getting back what they wanted. So that was another area that we found that there was a gap in which, like I think Dr. Anupama and Dr. Swati also pointed out, that there is lack of awareness and difference between going for a professional counseling and just getting the counseling on the small basic issues. So I think that kind of help, I don't know what help she took our participant when she was saying that there was a communication gap that was happening. So you always have a lot of options. Like in the study, we found that they were approaching friends, they were approaching parents, and among the parents, we found that it was mother whom they were approaching first whenever there was a serious issue that they were not able to face or they were disturbed. And third came parents, and then it came as brother and father. So it was little down that they were approaching. Probably it's because of the age also, because they are in the adolescent age. So we need to look at this from a very holistic perspective, and the family environment plays a major role in that early stages and also in the adolescent. And of course, we are seeing that it is in our lifespan that the family plays a role, and how you're communicating with your family. So communication plays a major role in all these situations.
Thank you. I think I'm getting cues that the lunch would be served soon. So I would like to ask the panel to say something which probably, in my ignorance, I have not covered in this. And it's relevant here. Can you just pick up one each?
Thank you.
And it's
That
too
was
short a
amazing.
time to cover this entire.
It's such a deep topic, I
thing.
know.
Yeah, it's a deeper topic.
But
Yeah.
it could travel. There's one thing, where inner resilience and mental health is concerned, we constantly talk about speak, speak, speak. But it's not easy. The very reason people have a mental health issue is because they think that they are misfits. So it's very difficult for them to tell that this is how I'm feeling. And that's why mindfulness techniques, mind power techniques, brain hacks, all these amazing ancient techniques, which are now backed by science, need to be introduced. Life in the midst of nature, very important for parents to, step back and listen. Do we want huge luxurious homes, or do we want real homes? Make our children be amidst nature, and you will see yourselves thrive too. So that's my only thing, that we teach them to communicate with themselves. We go back to our roots, where Swami Vivekananda said, the kingdom lies within. Do not worry about the outside world, enrich your inner world, and then automatically least judgment becomes a part of your nature.
That's a nice insight.
One word for the adolescents. So what I've seen in the last, I have two grown-up kids who were teenagers long back, and now I have one daughter who's 11. So what difference I've seen last 15, 20 years of difference between them is that those days they were looking at us teachers or relatives or elders for information. They used to look up to us for advice, and because they didn't know, they didn't have much information. Like, see, for us all the information I got, or what is from my parents or teachers, nothing else. There were in library, there were some storybooks and all. Otherwise, all that whatever was fed in is what my parents told. My dad said America is there, or sun rises in the east, whatever. But next, my kids were there where most of the other information they got, but they were not exposed to so much of knowledge. But today, if I see my daughter, she knows so much. She says the first conversations is, Mom, I'm just sharing this with you, but now don't advise me on this. I'm just sharing it with you. Don't advise. I know much more. I know much more. This is a confidence. So another thing I want to tell. So I think even if you're not advising, so don't always advise. Don't think when they come to you. See, the difference between the parents and the peer group is we are thinking that when they approach us, we are here to judge them, give them advice and all. Whereas the friends, they just listen. They just listen, and then they just say, oh, whatever they feel like. So I think we should go down to their level and just listen to what they have to say, and then only advise when asked for. A proper question should come. Mom, what do you think I should be doing now? Is you just wait for that. Before that only, why did you fight? Why did you shouldn't have done this? This is what we start doing. The second thing is, whenever a child, especially in the adolescence, why are they scared? I get a lot of adolescent young girls being into gynec practice. They come to us only with the friends when they have when they have this unwanted pregnancies or something. It is never with the family. Never with the family. They always come with some colleague or somebody. I don't know, not a family. So why are they taking this confidence in other people, then not in the family? Not 1% come with the family. So it's always about they come with the, even minors come with their some friends or some cousins or someone, but never with the first family. So I think that gap, that means we think we are the closest to, I'm the mother, I'm the father, you're a part of my body. But when they're in real problem, a 16-year-old girl gets an unwanted pregnancy, it's a life and death risk for her, but she's not able to, she'll sell off her earrings, she'll borrow money, she'll beg her the money, and then they come to us. And then when I ask, lot of times I take this feedback at the end of the, because see, if they're a minor, I need a guardian, definitely. So we have to slowly, because if I say, if I'm very stern with them and say, no, legally I cannot do, they run away. They run away to outskirts. I had these experiences earlier. I had these experiences like, when I say no, no, we have to have a documentation, we have to have this thing, immediately these innocent girls go to these quacks, RMPs, outskirts, where it is done in a very, very, not a proper way. So I don't want to like, so that's why we have to, I used to talk to them slowly, like, why isn't it? Why are you not going to the, low socioeconomic, I understand, like they say that they will hit them, they will, but in the middle class, upper middle class, the main thing is they are not sure that one mistake is not acceptable, because we keep our children like very, very high, we don't want to accept their failure. My daughter will never do this. My son is not like that. Always whenever we have an issue, we try to have this blame game going on. So you have to accept that, you can be flawed. You can also do wrong. I have done. So what I keep doing is, even if I have not done those things, I keep telling my children, so that I used to bunk the class sometimes, just to be like, so that they think it's okay, normal, it's normal to be flawed, it's normal to make mistakes. So that makes, like, I tell my children so many times, see, please come back and tell me whatever you do, you steal, you hit, you break, anything you tell, but still they go to their dad, because he doesn't judge them. That's what at least in our family we had,
more connected to
no,
one
he
parent.
doesn't judge. That's one thing I observed about him, is that he doesn't judge. He just listens, and then immediate thing is what next to do. He doesn't, he just deals with the problem. So I think all the parents, or even the adolescents, one thing from as a parent, what I want to tell is, whatever the friends do, whatever others do, the most people who care are going to be your family members, your parents. But please share them, and then see, maybe 1 in 100 parents may be very this thing. Otherwise, all others want to, like,
Helpful to
protect their,
them.
helpful to you. This is what, like, I see in my practice day in, and I just get so hurt. I get this feeling, okay, if my daughter does this, is she going to come back? Otherwise, I used to feel that it's a failure of the whole system. We say that family, values, so many things we tell India, we are like this, we are like that. What is that thing when you are in real trouble, you're not able to look at your family? What is the family value we are talking about? I think
Thank
we
you,
should
ma'am.
give that sexual freedom.
Understand. Thank you so much for that. Quickly, we can take the audience questions afterwards.
Yes, taking this
Do you want-
forward, when we talk of inner resilience and the system support, I deal with a lot of women who have enormous, look at the grassroots. I interact with women who are, daily wage laborers, or, vendors, Anganwadi teachers. Um, so, so what I see is inner resilience is important, yes, but as you said, if there are not enough of support systems around, and how long can you hold on to your inner resilience without an enabling environment for you to grow? So that could not be ignored. So most of the times, what I hear is that you're strong enough, you can hold yourself, keep working, keep holding yourself together, and then keep going. But not always it is possible. As she said, we are a community, so we have to grow as a community, and we have to support each other. So support systems include us also. So how do we see, for example, a minor getting pregnant, or a house help, needing help? Are we kind enough over there also? We have to question ourselves. In all walks of life.
Sensitiveness is what is required there. Yep.
That's it.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Aparna. You brought that. Quickly,
Related to communication, using positive language. So many times we are using words which are, I don't say unparliamentary, but maybe not to the context or something, which creates the problem, and there is a communication breakdown that occurs. So try to use positive language as far as possible, and try to avoid all the negative words when you're communicating, so that your communication is more effective, and the person who is listening to you is on what you want to say rather than how you're saying it. So that makes a lot of difference.
thank you. I think we can take a couple of questions from the audience here. Yes, ma'am. Okay, there. Next.
Inspiring women here. It's definitely my pleasure. But I would be adding one thing. I am a huge fan of Rageshwari. So, as you must have heard of Dronacharya and Eklavya, her videos are so inspiring. I myself am a yoga teacher, but I follow her video religiously.
May I know your name, please?
Reena Hindocha.
Reena Hindu.
And the way she is transforming so many people's life is so very inspiring. If I can be even a 5% like you, I will be very helpful. So thank you. Firstly, I just want to express my gratitude and thankfulness to you for inspiring so many people that in today's life, mindfulness is so very important. People doesn't believe in manifestation still yet. People still feel that manifestation is a joke. How can things turn when you talk positive? People don't understand the power of positivity. People are not being mindful. Even I can see so many people, wonderful.
What is your question, please? We
Sorry.
have other people.
So my question is that in our daily life, sometimes we also go off track. Sometimes we lose track. So how to be mindful consistently? So I just want the consistency, how to get into it. So if
You can take that question quickly. Thank you, Ruma.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you are with. And if you don't have the right kind of friends, it's okay to be alone. And digital world, be very mindful of who you are following. So be so careful about what we eat, and we can see a difference within a week where our tummy is concerned, right, with the kind of food. It's the same way. What's your mental diet? Watch the kind of movies that really inspire you, uplift you. Read books about biographies about people who've really changed their life. And then you are your best company, because the outside world we cannot control, but we can control our inner world. And yes, so that's it. You just make sure that you are moving with people who are positive. Hope that helps.
Okay. And one last question, we'll close this.
Lata Shankar. I am an HR professional. I'm known to Geeta. I come from a very artistic family. Both my sisters are Bharatanatyam artists. Eldest sister is a Padma Shri awardee as well. She's Ananda Shankar Jayant. What I will say, and Rageshwari will resonate with what I'm saying, is she comes from the cultural field as well. Is what we need to tell our youngsters, our children, adolescents, is build, and parents, for you as parents to inculcate a creative art among all the youngsters.
Very true.
It can be dance, music, painting, sculpture, anything. That's the fallback. You will have a fallback when you have a problem. My sister suffered cancer, and dance was her creative side, where she grew on the dance. I mean, she took the support of dance to overcome her cancer. And I think all youngsters today have to inculcate the creative art in them, and that can be a
outlet,
absolutely outlet for all the problems, and you will not have 16-year-old being pregnant. Also, it's important for us parents to inculcate the good values in humans.
Thank you, Sri, for bringing that. That brings to the end of this beautiful session. I know a lot of hands are going up, but we can have our conversation while we are having lunch. Yeah, we also have online coming. So thank you so much for your presence here. Okay.
From morning till now, you're talking about adolescent girls and all. You're talking about women's mental health now. How about treating of elders of the community? The children in the house, the second generation people, they concentrate only on youngsters and children and middle agers. How about elders? Who is listening to them? Who is giving advice to concentrate on them? Please discuss about it. Thanks a lot.